Zaffa presents The Expectant Detectives, written by Cat Ailes and read by Kitty Kelly. Chapter 1. For my boyfriend's 30th birthday, I thought I'd go all out and surprise him with a pregnancy. I mean, I surprised myself too, but it was a broadly good surprise. So Joe and I decided to roll with it. And if you're going to do a thing, you may as well do it properly. So as responsible, soon-to-be parents, we thought we'd better leave the hive of criminal activity that is London and opt for a safer, more wholesome life in the country. This despite the fact that, in nearly 10 years in London, the most heinous crime I'd ever witnessed was a bunch of teenagers running out without paying in a Pizza Express. The metropolitan criminal underworld aside, with neither of us earning a six-figure salary, if we stayed in London, we'd be living in Zone 85, and our baby would be sleeping in a drawer. London was out. We were moving to the country. Our destination was the quiet market town of Penton, nestled amongst the picturesque Cotswold hills. As far as it's possible to tell via Google, Penton gave off a certain vibe that I would vaguely describe as posh hippie. When picking our future home, this was something I felt I could get on board with, as despite being neither posh nor hippie, I have, more or less successfully, masqueraded as both at various points in my life. I was ready to embrace the patchouli oil. Maybe I would buy a dream catcher. As we rolled our cumbersome removal van through the ancient byways of the Cotswolds, I could barely move for the assortment of car snacks wedged around me. I had prepared for the 3-hour journey with all the diligence of an excessively snack-oriented Everest expedition. Also, Joe said, but at nearly 9 months pregnant, I was taking no chances. If I had to be chronically uncomfortable, radioactively overheated, and need to pee every 5 minutes, then I wasn't going to add hungry to the mix. I opened a sherbet dib-dab with a contented sigh. I was also wearing my dressing gown because I'd forgotten to pack it, and TLC had just started playing from my Spotify moving playlist. If it weren't for the Rolo that had dropped down my cleavage and was slowly melting, just out of reach, I would have had to say life didn't really come much better. I shared this happy thought with Joe, who merely grunted. He seemed a tad stressed. To be fair, I wasn't driving, nor had I contributed much to packing the precipitous mound of possessions hovering behind our heads, waiting to take us out with an incautious emergency brake. Being heavily pregnant gives you a get-out-of-jail-free card for lifting anything heavier than a mini-roll. I had directed the packing from the sidelines, occasionally sneaking items back out of the charity shop box when Joe wasn't looking. This was why I was currently sat with a glittery blue Virgin Mary piggy bank nestled, ironically, between my pregnancy bump and crotch. I knew if I let it out of my sight, Joe would have it down Oxfam faster than you could say Hail Mary. I peered out of the van window at the countryside flashing past. It was green. Definitely very green. More so than even Hampstead Heath, which I had previously considered to be pretty damn rural. "Do you think they have chicken shops in the country?" I asked Joe nervously. "You probably have to kill and pluck your own." I nodded sagely. That sounded about right. At this point, Joe took a corner, braked rather abruptly, and the Virgin Mary jabbed me sharply in the crotch. I was about to complain when I realised why he had stopped. We had arrived. Spread out below us was our new home, Penton, nestled snugly in the valley like the slightly overworn bag of Rolos wedged alongside the Virgin in my lap. It was small, perhaps 1,000 houses running along the valley floor and a handful more clinging to the hills that rose either side. A dense woodland ran along the crest of the hill opposite, the trees hazed with the almost fluorescent green of oncoming spring. Fields sprawled along the valley sides, liberally dotted with assorted livestock. The golden light of early evening gave it the sort of glow I had previously always put down to light pollution. Joe hauled on the handbrake until he almost gave himself a hernia. Penton apparently didn't do flat. We sat silently for a while and surveyed our new homeland, holding hands across the mound of semi-demolished snacks. "Nice," Joe said eventually.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?